Welcome to Profitical, where purpose meets profit and divine favor guides our journey. I'm your host, Kim Curry, serial entrepreneur, landlord, realtor, mortgage loan originator, author, and on and on and on. Yeah, your girl does some of everything. And so with this podcast, Profitical, what we're going to be doing is bringing on people like Chot'sani Brown, who are professionals in their own right in various industries, who can bring you information on how you can do what it is that they are currently doing. So, Chot'sani, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, now I'm not going to pretend like I don't know you, because I know you.
We know each other.
Know you. Okay, ma'am. You have done 2 of my transactions already. So, let me pretend like I don't know who you are.
Okay.
And who is Chot'sani Brown?
I think on a personal level, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter of the king. I'm just me. But in a professional sense, I'm a mortgage broker. I have been around this industry for over 20 years. So, yeah, I'm just me.
Okay, and listen, y'all. So mortgage broker and entrepreneur. So we'll get to that later.
Sure.
We will get to that later. So let's start light. Just share something fun, something surprising about you. Because right now you all professional and put together. What you got for us?
Something surprising about me?
Yes, ma'am.
I am in the mortgage industry and I am a complete introvert. I am okay being alone. I'm okay not connecting with people, which is so weird because of the profession that I chose. But yeah, I am a complete introvert.
I am exactly the opposite. Listen, if I don't have somebody to talk to, I will make up someone. I go on social media. If I don't have nobody to talk to, it's always somebody on Facebook. Y'all follow Chot'sani on Facebook, and it's just Chot'sani Brown on Facebook.
You can look it up by Chot'sani Brown. But on Instagram, it's Mortgage with Chot.
Okay, Mortgage with Chot. So go ahead and follow your girl. So now let me ask you this, because I know there was a pre-Chot'sani, the mortgage broker Brown. So what was your pre-mortgage life like?
Well, really, it's crazy because pre-mortgage, I have to go back to, my first couple of years after graduating college. I moved to Dallas, Texas. I'm a native Floridian. I moved to Dallas, Texas, and I worked for Geico as an insurance sales agent. Yes, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Okay. But I was inside sales for Geico. And then I moved to Florida in 2003. And my first job here in Florida was a mortgage processor in 2003.
Oh.
So I have been in the mortgage industry for my complete adult life for the most part.
I don't know why insurance agent just never crossed my mind with because I have seen you in this mortgage facet for so long, and I feel like it's just your thing. Like you just are so fluid with it. And mind you, that's coming from me. I'm a baby mortgage loan originator.
You are, but you know
I'm new to the field, but you just have such a finesse about everything you do. So
I don't know if I would call it a finesse. I think I've been in the industry for so long that now it's just second nature. You know how there are certain things that you've been doing for so long, you can kind of do it in your sleep and you don't think twice about it. I think that's where I am with the mortgage industry, but it's always changing. So, you always have to stay up on the changes. But for the most part, I've just been doing it for so long, it just comes second nature.
So you're my mentor, by the way. If you did not know, you are my mentor.
No, that.
So just to make that clear. So tell us, when it comes to mortgages, when it comes to being a broker, how did this journey begin for you? Because you were with the lizard selling insurance for
Yes.
Geico.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh, wow.
so how do you transition from that line of work to mortgages to mortgage broker and then really just flourishing in your career?
So, to be honest, I went through college. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Um, when I graduated, of course, I went into insurance sales. I knew that I did not want to do that. I hated it. So when I came to Florida, my mom passed. I had her house and I didn't know what to do with it. Right. And I felt like it was one of the biggest transactions in our lives, right? And I didn't want to be taken advantage of. I had no idea what I was looking at with the paperwork. And so I said, okay, maybe this is something that I should, familiarize myself with. I was young. There was a position open for a processor. And if you don't know what a mortgage processor does, that's a person that actually handles, back in those days, we had actual paperwork, paper files that we had to flip through. So that's the person that takes in all of your income documents, all of your property information, and actually submits it to the underwriter. So I did that for about a year and a half, and I was with the mortgage broker. And they were looking to promote two underwriters. And so I took the leap of faith. I was scared because that first year, I had no idea what I was doing. Okay. I would go home and I would be like, I am way in over my head. I have no idea what I'm doing. Maybe I should just quit. And I didn't quit. I took the leap of faith. I applied for the underwriting position and I got hired, and I was in underwriting for about 5 years before the market tanked. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So when the market tanked, I did step back, for a little while because, well, I had no other choice. But I went from, being a mortgage underwriter to going to the county, working for Palm Beach County in their foreclosure department. So, I didn't actually physically do the foreclosure auctions, but I ran all of the accounting and the, money transactions, and kept records of all of their systems and when the money would come in after somebody purchased the foreclosure. So I did that I was with the county for about 5 years before I went back into mortgage. Yeah. So I went back to processing, underwriting. I went to an actual bank, and I stayed there for, it seems like 5 years is my max. I'm somewhere for five
Then it's
years and
time
then
to
I'm on to the next.
transition. I'm with
Yes,
you. Yes,
exactly.
it's time to
So,
progress.
you know, I was with an actual bank for about 5 years. And I did, processing, underwriting with the bank. And I decided one day that I wanted to be a loan officer. And so they gave me the opportunity. At that time, I didn't necessarily need to get a license or anything. I could work under their license. That's how banks work.
Okay.
And so I started out there. It's kind of easier because you have people coming into the bank looking for loans. When you go out on your own and you become a mortgage broker, it doesn't work that way until you get your name out there, right? So,
Sure.
it's completely different. You don't make as much with the bank. So, I decided I'm going to leave the bank and go and do it the mortgage broker route. So that's how I got here.
Okay.
And I am, 5 or 6 years into doing it this way.
And basically, being a mortgage broker is you being independent, so to speak?
Yes. So, mortgage brokers are self-employed. You're building your own book of business, your own, clients, and yeah, you're independent. You can originate loans, but you submit them to a different lender, wholesale lender that will do all of the financing for that loan.
Okay, gotcha. So basically, if you're a mortgage broker, you have connections with all of the lenders and you put your client with the lender that's most appropriate for their need. In my
Correct.
case, some good credit and had some coins ready.
Yes.
So Listen, I realized I don't have my glasses on. You blurry. I got my eyebrows re-tattooed, so I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the eyebrows
Cute. Yes.
before I put my glasses back on so I can see you right.
And then you're blurry on my side too. So I blurry on your side?
You're not blurry.
Oh, okay.
You're
You're
not
kind of
blurry on
blurry
my
on my
side.
side. So I don't know if it'll come
So
over that way.
hopefully when we do the recording on my side, I look clear, and on your side, it looks clear also. So
Oh,
we
okay.
should be good. Fingers
Okay.
crossed. Okay. So next question. You mentioned money. So I want to kind of pivot towards the money piece because I know for a lot of people, like even for me, when
Mhm.
I decided to go through the school to get my loan originator license, I had no idea what I stood to make. And
Mhm.
I'm curious as to what you can make with a bank versus as a mortgage broker doing this on your own.
So without being too technical,
Keep it simple. Just
um,
give us some numbers. 300,
okay.
and she's real good with numbers, y'all. If you got a $400,000 mortgage from the bank versus a mortgage broker, just keep it real basic for us. Talk about
So
basis points because my head
okay.
is gonna
Ye-
explode.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Let me not make it, really difficult, but let's stay with the example of a $400,000 loan. Okay. Um, with the bank on a $400,000 loan, you could make somewhere around $3,000 for that transaction.
Mhm.
Okay. Without being too technical, I'll give you max somewhere around $7,000 you would walk away
Gotcha.
with. So, hence my reason for leaving the bank. And, there are pros and cons either way, right? With the bank, you're not necessarily looking for clients. So, you could close more loans because they're actually coming in looking for loans. With a mortgage broker, as a mortgage broker, you have to find that business yourself, but you're going to make more each transaction.
Mhm.
You may not make as many transactions, but you're going to make more money on each.
Gotcha. So it could take you basically double the clients, but you have access to more people. So I'm
Correct.
kind of on the fence with that because I guess because I'm a baby loan originator, I have no clientele, I have no credibility in the field yet. So I have no one referring to me because I'm still new to the process
Right.
itself. In the back of my head, working for a bank might sound kind of good for
But once you
learning.
get that experience, then you can go out. Yeah.
So do you know if you're brand new, I'm licensed, is it hard to get hired with no experience?
With the bank, yes, I would say there, unless you're already working for the bank and you can move up, typically that's the way that it works. If you're fresh out of, licensing and you have no experience, um, the bank's reputation is on the line. So 9 times out of 10, they're probably not going to hire you. Um, but from a mortgage broker standpoint, you get to go in and learn. You get to go in and hopefully you're with a really good broker that can, kind of take you under their wing and really break down the loan process, how to structure a loan, how to make sure that you're putting that buyer in the correct loan for their scenario, for their needs. You want to make sure that you know how to look at the income documents, how to look at, a loan scenario and say, I'm going to need X, Y, and Z to make this work. So you're with the bank, you pretty much your hand is being held
Mhm.
because banks have stricter guidelines. They have, a specific procedure. As a mortgage broker, you're really out there. You're out there. You're going to be thrown into the water to figure it out yourself. And if you
Right.
have a really good mortgage broker, they'll help you through that process.
Right. So I'm with ASC Mortgage Group, and
Hmm.
thank God
Keep walking. Unlike
the
you.
owner, Alex, is
Yeah.
phenomenal and is
He
willing to explain and teach. And he's really patient.
he's patient.
Yes, which is what I need because I'm not saying that I'm slow. I'm just saying I might need you to repeat it twice, is all.
But here's the thing with you, Kamei. You're very Kamei is resourceful. Okay. She is going to, once she has it, she's going to take it and run with it. Okay. And she's not a novice to this industry because she's done multiple transactions herself, and she's purchased multiple homes, multiple refinances. And so she knows what the process looks like.
Get you
You
giving
know,
me a
say,
plug. Okay.
yeah, say you get, someone that's really young, have never done this before, have never purchased a property. They're really green and they don't know anything about the process, and it makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah,
I would say that
definitely.
learning curve is a little more steep. It takes more time to get to a place where you're comfortable with this.
Definitely. And what I noticed when I do different networking events, and I've had potential clients approach me, able
Mhm.
to articulate what the process looks like, not because of my knowledge as a loan originator, but
From your
because of
experience.
my experience. So if I have a potential client who is inquiring about a VA loan, I've been there, done that. So refinance, been there, done that. HELOC, been there, done that. So I have a reference point that really has helped me to get through those conversations. And then I'm transparent too. So if I don't know, then I'll tell them, like, I'm going to refer you to the owner of the company because if anybody knows the ins and outs, it's him. And I'm able to still market myself by saying, hey, I'm going to put you in with the owner, the top of the top in this industry within my company. So that way they're still like, ooh, they still feel elite and cared for, even though they ask me a question and I don't know the answer as of yet. I will eventually, but as of yet, I need help.
But I appreciate your transparency because it's a lot of people out there that are not transparent and they kind of, give answers that are not the real answer. And I'm sure that that borrower, that potential borrower appreciates your transparency.
Right.
And another thing, not one person does not know everything. You know, there are new programs always coming out, guidelines change. You're not going to know everything about every single loan. It's just not possible. So at some point, we all have to say, give me a second, let me refer back to the guidelines, or give me a second, let me refer back to my broker. That's that's just the nature of this business. There are always changes. And then experience is the best teacher. You have experience, and so you can teach from your experience.
Yes, because honey, if
Yeah.
somebody wants to talk about the new build process,
You can talk about
I
that
can
fluently.
talk about it fluently, honey. And let me tell you what not to do. Like,
But it's beautiful. The outcome is beautiful.
absolutely.
The
The
process is a little
process.
ugly.
I'm so happy with the outcome. Thank you very much for
Yes.
getting me through it. And so Chot'sani has been, like I said, my mortgage broker for several transactions, including the house that I'm sitting in right now, and which I bought pre-construction.
Yeah.
Like
There was some
it was a
bumps and some
lot.
bruises along the way, but we made it.
We made it.
We made
We
it.
we
And you
made
know
it.
what? To me, that's a good sign of, because transactions are going to have roadblocks. There's some really easy transactions, and you've experienced those, but then there are some loan types that you're going to experience some bumps in the road.
Mm,
And the sign of a good mortgage broker is that you can overcome those, or a loan originator is that you can overcome those hurdles.
right. And thankfully so I have experience with you, so I know that you walk your clients through the process. And you
Right.
also give a heads up, which is really
Right.
important to me because what I
Right.
find, like you said, with people lacking that transparency is that now I have to pay for XYZ and I had no clue. And I've already listened, this is my down payment and closing cost money. What are you talking about? I have to pay for an inspection. What are you talking about? They want me to pay off this credit card or that credit card before I get my clear to close. So you are really transparent in that, which is what I plan on taking on with my clients as well, because it's better to know on the front end. And some people don't like a worst case scenario. Give me the worst case scenario so I can
Correct.
prepare for it.
So I can prepare.
Absolutely. Because other
Mhm.
than that, honey, we both gonna be looking at each other crazy because where's this money coming from?
Correct.
Where's it coming from? I don't have it. I can't borrow it.
And I think that's one of the biggest complaints that I hear from people is that nobody really sat down and talked to them or went over things or, kind of prepared them for what was next. So that's a big thing for me. I want to be open and honest with people about what to expect throughout the process.
Absolutely. And I find because I just met a potential client and she's one of my sorors. She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And
Okay.
very young, she's in her early 30s and she's looking to
Oh, wow.
purchase her first home.
Wow.
And she's doing the research, which I love. She's not
Mhm.
just relying on what she's being told by the bank, by the loan originator. She's getting multiple quotes and different things. She's doing what I feel you're supposed to do as a consumer.
Fire.
Do your
Mhm.
do your research for yourself. And then there have been some things that I've been able to tell, like, hey, listen, you should have gotten your loan estimate already, where
Mhm.
she had gotten a loan estimate before speaking with me and well, over the phone, verbally,
Mhm.
but they wouldn't give her the document.
Get it in writing.
Exactly. And so just in talking to her, I was able to relate, like, no, they're supposed to provide you that within 3 days of you submitting your application. So you need to
Mhm.
follow up with them and ensure that they know that you know what the guidelines are.
Mhm.
So it's something as simple as that, but that is how you learn what terms they're really trying to give you and what, because
Correct.
they had her closing costs at $100,000, but she couldn't explain why. She didn't know where those numbers were coming from. Yes. But she was applying for workforce housing and, hadn't been approved for the program yet. And so they're like, "Oh, we can't give you the loan estimate until we get your grant and know how
Yeah.
much you're." No, I told her, "No, they can give you something based on you not even getting the grant. Like, where did this number come from
Correct.
if it's not based on me having the grant? Let's talk about it."
Yeah.
So, that transparency, and I feel like a lot
It's
of let me tread lightly in saying this,
right.
but
I
there are
follow where you're
there
going.
are a lot of self-serving people in the industry who
Yes.
are only concerned with how much they can profit from the deal.
Yes.
That is
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. And I always tell people I have to sleep at night. So if I rip you off, in order to put money in my pocket, my conscience won't allow me to sleep at night. So one of the reasons why we have a loan estimate, I'll tell borrowers, you're going to get your disclosures, your initial disclosures. It'll have a loan estimate in there. Give me a call when you're looking at it so we can go over line by line so you can know what these numbers are. Because you should not go to the closing table or even, continue the process if you don't know what the numbers mean. If you don't know how we got to that bottom line number, we should not continue
Right,
that process.
exactly,
And that's not just for me or Kamei, that's for any buyer that's buying whatever mortgage broker or bank you're working with. They need to explain to you what those numbers are and how they came up with that number.
exactly, exactly. So before I forget, like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. go to canmakecapitalgroup.com. Go shop my store. You can also book a
I
session
love
with
it.
your girl professionally, of course.
Yes.
You can book a session if you want a consultation. So canmakecapitalgroup.com. Like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. Just do it all.
I have to get a cup.
Yes, I love it. Listen, and they actually stay cold like the Stanley Cup, so I can put ice in here and the ice will last for days. It gets
Okay.
cold and it stays cold. I love it.
Love
And
it.
I'm not just saying that because it's my cup. It's a nice quality cup. Do not, however, put it in the dishwasher. It says
Okay.
it on the
Well,
directions, but nobody listens. And my children have constantly put this in the dishwasher. So I'm like, wait, no,
oh
listen, because
wow.
I don't want nothing coming off. So
Right.
hand wash only, please. We want it to last. Wash only.
I clearly have to get one.
Yes. Yes. So this season of Prophetical is about failing forward. That is the first season I wanted to talk about the failures because a lot of times people hear our stories and maybe see and assume, oh, they're doing great, they're making money, they're successful. And it's not always what it looks like. And there have been so many learning curves and bumps along the road and,
Yes.
sleepless nights and tears and
Yes.
stress and
Yes.
overthinking and
Yes.
questioning, did I do the right thing? How could I have done better? The
Yes.
constancy of the doubt followed by the praying,
Yes.
more doubt and concern, followed by more
Yes.
praying, then followed by fear, followed by more
Yes.
praying. So, what has been something for you where you felt like you failed, like you could have done better, something that you've learned across the years that you could impart for anybody looking to take the journey that you're on right now?
So that's a lot of question in one.
Yes,
Uh,
it's deep.
let's talk about failures, and then I'll get to that. When I left the bank to come out and start my own mortgage broker journey, to build my own book of business, I didn't close a loan for the first 5 months. So that means I didn't get a paycheck for the first 5 months. Countless connecting with people, trying to be in the room, networking, all those things. It took me 5 months, and I didn't have another job at the time. So it took me 5 months to actually close on a loan. If I had given up during that 5 month period where I felt like I had failed, you got all these years of experience. What are you doing? Like, how haven't you closed a loan? So, if I had given up in that 5 month period, I would not have gotten to the sixth month where I closed 5 or 6 loans in that 1 month.
Woo!
That was my first $20,000 month as a mortgage broker. There will be ups and downs. There will be times where you want to walk away. There will be times where you want to quit. But the reward for hanging in there is far greater than quitting. You get to see people in their new homes to achieve the dream, the American dream. I felt like there was a lot of failure that led up to where I am right now. Can you ask your last question again?
So the last part of that is really just anywhere where you feel like you could have done better or you learned something that you want to impart to someone else who's starting their journey. Mainly me. Give me some advice. Give me
So
something.
I think on every single transaction, I always reflect on what I could have done better, what I could have explained. Could I have gotten them a better interest rate? Could I have cut fees? How could I have made it easier for them in this transaction? And I think that's something that plays in our head the whole time that we're going through the process. I'll tell you about my first loan that I closed as a mortgage broker, not with a bank. I had locked an interest rate, and I was trying to give her the best interest rate I could without charging her the fees for it. So as a mortgage broker, you can kind of play around with the fees a little bit. With the bank, you can't do that. And so I locked her interest rate and I did not charge at all for my commission. And I didn't realize it. So I was essentially doing the loan for free. And as much as I want to help people, none of us are in this for charity, right? You know, we have a family to take care of. And I was blown away at the mistakes. Sometimes you make mistakes, and those are mistakes that you will never make again because
Again.
they're costing. That was a mistake that I have never made. So I'm always going to look at a transaction and say, what could I have done better? You know, if I had to give advice to someone that's new and coming in, um, don't just jump out there and do something without guidance. That's going to be my biggest advice. You know, whether it's locking an interest rate or quoting an interest rate, because that's big. You know, a lot of people are rate conscious, right? So you could lose a loan because of the interest rate. You could lose your commission because of the interest rate. You know, so many things could happen because of the interest rate, but never work on a loan alone without guidance. Yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but that's my advice to
No,
you.
it does, and it just solidifies that I need to stay right there with Alex. Yes, so I think that what I love about you and your personality is, one, just in hearing you talk about reevaluating every transaction, it really just shows that you have integrity in your process. Are not just out here for the dollar, you're always evaluating. And I don't know if you remember this, but you did it with my process as well. And mind you, y'all, she got me like a 3.1 rate. And she was disappointed because she missed a window where we locked in and it was like 2.8 or something like that. And so we missed that window. But had we not locked in at 3.1, we don't know.
It would have been higher.
There's that
Yeah.
toggle where you don't know if the rates are going to go up or go down, where you could miss that window. And we're watching for those moments for our clients. And I remember hearing a disappointment in your voice, and I'm like, girl, I am
Yes.
so happy with my rate.
But I get to see it all. I get to see, oh man, I could have gotten you, you know, that same rate and it would have cost you, you know, $1,000 less. Like there's so many different scenarios that go on and I get to see it all. And I'm like, dang, if I had moved, you know, a day sooner, I could have saved this. And so those to me, I wouldn't necessarily call them failures, but those are the things that I think about on every transaction, you know, that I close is what could I have done better to make sure, you know, that my buyer or my borrower is in the best position possible.
And I think that's really
Because
what makes you so great, though, because I do find you excellent in your field. And that that attention to detail and being so purposeful in how you deal day in and day out with your clients is why you have transitioned to me this, you're a powerhouse in the mortgage industry. And I think that's why, because you care enough to evaluate and always are looking for a way to improve and grow and help the client at the end of the day.
I appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. We're gonna give all our flowers. We're
Okay.
we're giving all of them. So I want to go over what it takes to actually become a licensed loan originator versus a broker. So I'm gonna pull up my friend ChatGPT
Okay.
and just go over the steps. So these are the steps for those of you who are thinking about it, who like, you like numbers, you think that this is an industry that you want to be a part of, or you see 800 of your family and friends getting mortgages or getting refinances, and you're like, you could be the one who is doing these transactions for them. So, and this is for the state of Florida. So you do need to research the guidelines for the state that you're in just to make sure that there aren't any changes, because it does not have to be exactly the same in
Right.
Florida. So You have to be 18 years old, high school diploma or equivalent. You have to pass a criminal background check. Now, that doesn't mean if you have something in your past, you're automatically out. If it's a financially related crime or felony conviction, then yes, those will eliminate you from the process. Anything other than that, even if they do deny your application, you have the ability to appeal. So don't feel like because you got that misdemeanor way back when that's automatically going to eliminate you from being licensed. You have to complete pre-licensing education. That's 20 hours of NMLS approved education. So I recommend Magnolia School of Real Estate. I used her study guides on YouTube. They were phenomenal. I had already gone to Gold Coast, which I think shot. Where did you go to school?
Gold Coast.
Everybody, Florida, you going to Gold Coast. But
Gold
Magnolia School
Coast.
of Real Estate is there, and they have an online class now. So I highly recommend it because it was video examples, and she actually writes on the board, and she gives you a cheat code for a lot of the math. So that was phenomenal. You then have to, after you go to school, you pass the school exam. Don't think that the school exam is getting you ready to take the national exam. I don't even know if anything on the school exam was
No,
on.
they teach you from that book. That's it. But the school exam doesn't prepare you at all
Does
for the
not
state
prepare
license.
you. So I ended up, and my school had Gold Coast had a cram course that it offered that came with the package that I purchased. I still ended up going to Magnolia School of Real Estate and purchasing her cram course, which
Oh wow.
is how I passed, and nobody can tell me different. Her course is
Oh,
how I passed the exam first time go. A lot of people have to retest. I studied and I was able to pass first time go with her assistant. So I always, when people ask me where to go, I always refer them to her.
that says a lot.
It does.
That does.
Listen, and she's not boring because I was on out on you.
It can be boring.
I was on out on you. So
Yeah.
if I'm saying
It's
that
a
she
lot of
kept me.
laws and a lot of history and a lot of,
Exactly.
it can get really boring.
So, definitely 10 out of 10 recommend her. So, in addition to that, you all need to be aware you have to submit your application via the NMLS, and you have to have money. So, it's gonna take you several $100s to get this process going, to pay for your exam, to pay for fingerprints, and you have to authorize a credit report. So, what's up with that credit report, Shot?
So that credit report, they are going to review your credit not to disqualify you, but they want to make sure if you will be handling other people's financials, they want to make sure that your personal financials are not terrible. One of the things that I know that they look for is whether or not you have any collections on your account. And even if it's, your occasional medical where you forgot to pay your copay and they hit your credit for $65, you will have to take care of that $65 collection.
So you're aware now and you know what you need to do if you have anything that might be lingering on your credit report. So with that, we're going to transition. So you obviously are established now, but say for instance, someone who is new to the field and they're wanting to grow their clientele, what would you suggest they do?
Don't be a secret agent. So network as much as possible. Let your friends, family, co-workers, let them know what you do and ask for referrals. Ask for people who are looking to refinance, people who are looking to purchase houses. Connect with realtors. Realtors will keep your pipeline going. And whenever somebody wants to buy a house, they're going to go to a realtor first before they go to a mortgage originator or a mortgage broker. So connect with realtors. Everybody that you come in contact with, let them know you are a mortgage originator and you would love to help them. Also, leads. You can purchase leads. It's It's a 50-50 chance that they work, but some of them work. And if you have not gotten a loan any other way, then I would say you can start with purchasing leads.
Tell me about a time when you had a client deal go absolutely left and how you rebounded from that.
So I'll give you two quick scenarios, right? I had one most recent that completely shocked me is it happened after the loan closed. So she was perfectly fine and happy during the loan process. But once the loan closed, she had some, personal issues that happened and she wanted to sell the house. This was a down payment assistance scenario, and down payment assistance, unless it's a forgivable grant, it has to be paid back. She knew that, but it didn't become real until she wanted to sell that house and had to pay that money back.
Right.
And she was not happy. She blamed me, for having to pay the down payment assistance back when she actually signed the note that says you're responsible for paying it back. So, um, even in a situation like that, I'm still going to apologize. I'm still going to, because the customer is right to a degree. Um, but your goal is to make everybody happy, but you're not going to make everybody happy. Even if they're happy during the process, something may happen after the fact. So that's one. Um, Another situation that you may run into as a loan originator, and having things go south is, having worked with a lot of people come to you and they don't think they'll qualify for a mortgage, right? And so some of them may be in a better position, some of them may not be, but you take all of your time helping them get their credit together, helping them qualify for the loan, and then they close with somebody else. So
I've had that on the real estate side where you have asked me 100, 1, 2, 3,000 questions about the buying process and gotten all of the knowledge that I had to offer. Because one thing I'm not physically capable of is gatekeeping. But you didn't ask me 811 questions, and now I see you with your key closing,
taking a picture,
taking your
you know,
picture with
yeah,
a different realtor, which I, you know what, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I wasn't the person for you. And by
correct.
God's grace, I
You,
was able to give you some assistance in your process. I noticed.
well, those are my experiences of, things going left, you know, but
Yeah. So all I can say is what I can say for me is I've learned that when it comes to business and money,
mhm,
people who you thought maybe were rocking with you,
they're not,
they're not,
they're
or
not
you're there for assistance, but like, I don't want you to make any money off of
right.
my transaction. Like, how dare you get a commission for working for me? And I know you. I want to pay this commission to a complete stranger, is what it
Correct.
is really what it boils down to.
That's essentially what it is. And I've heard this saying a lot, especially over social media from entrepreneurs, is that your biggest supporters come from those people that don't know you, those people that you have not met yet.
That's just life.
Such is life.
So before we come off, I do want to talk about the other things that you do, your other aspirations, because I know you are
Mhm.
more than just Chot'sani, the mortgage broker. So tell me about the other stuff that you have going on outside of the mortgage industry.
So One of the things that I am working towards is buying land, and I am not really a farm type girly. But I want to be, kind of self sufficient and live off the land. So, that's something that I am working on. A friend of mine, we're looking to go in and purchase farmland together. And I would encourage as many people as possible, you know, purchase farmland. You look at what the millionaires are doing, and you look at what the rich are doing with their money, and what they're doing is purchasing farmland. And a lot of times they know what we don't know. Prepare for what we don't know that may be coming. Um, but yeah, that's really where my focus is right now.
I'm right there with you. I bought land, but it's residential land
Right.
in Georgia, and I really do want to actually grow something, but, like, we have these raised plant beds in our backyard, and we have yet to be successful.
Right. Listen, I have raised plant beds. My daughter and I, we grew spinach, we grew kale, we grew bell peppers, but everything else was a fail. So I got a lot of work to do.
Listen, what teach me how to do the spinach and kale and the peppers, because we tried, and I thought potatoes were supposed to be easy,
I did too.
and
It wasn't easy.
no, and we sprouted it and everything, and so we gotta try the potatoes again, because I just need to I'm a preparer. I have, like, my apocalypse kit and stuff
Yes.
ready, and, we
Yes.
got our passports ready in case we need to hightail it across the water if we need
Yes.
to. When I say we won't have a potato,
At all.
none.
Listen, a friend of mine, she does really well. Like she can grow a meal, in a grow bag. I have not reached that level yet,
We need to
but
we need to find
I'm gonna get
somebody
there.
to
We need
teach
to get
us.
together,
Yeah.
and we need somebody to teach us.
Yes, because about the
Yeah.
soil and the nutrition and
Yes.
what grows in the climate and all of this stuff. Because
Yes.
my goal is to
Cause
be
see,
able to grow what I need to get all of my nutrients.
yes. And Home Depot has gotten a lot of money from me, and I have not produced much. So I need some help with that. But
Yeah.
that's the goal. That's the end goal, right?
So if you are out there and you got some tips for me and Shot, y'all put it in the comments, because
I'm
we are trying to
open.
get our doomsday farming situated. And listen, right now I'm gonna have to scrimmage and pilfer with everybody else because I can't grow nothing.
Listen, if my packaged rice and my freeze dried food doesn't get me through, then I don't know what I'm gonna do.
And I want to learn how to grow stuff inside the house.
Well, I did. I've done that too. My husband bought this uh, grow tower. I think
Yes,
is what you call it.
yes. But it looks like it's so much simpler and has, like, the little irrigation system and the lights and all of that, and now it doesn't look like you can grow anything but some herbs in there.
Right. Well, you can grow lettuce. You can grow tomatoes. You can grow small stuff, but I was watering and watering and turning the light on, and for about a month, and I never saw it.
Wait, is a month enough time, though?
To see seedlings, yes. And I would get like this much above the little grow pod,
Mhm.
and that's it. It wouldn't grow beyond that. So I gotta, you know, encourage myself and start over.
You know what? I'm sure there's a growing group on
Th-
Facebook in our
There has
area.
to be.
We need to do
Yeah.
some research and find us a growing group.
Yeah.
Whoever I need the lead of the group to come to my house and physically plant everything for me, and then just tell me how to maintain it. That's what
Yes.
I need.
Now I have family, I'm from the country. Okay. I'm from the country to where we have gardens in the backyard type country, right? And so my uncle, he has his gardens. He grows watermelon. He grows, collard greens. Like he can grow anything. And so I told him to come. He needs to come and help teach. Yeah.
Yeah, Miss
But
Laura.
I'm also, I don't know if, I'm serious because I do feel like there is something coming. And so canning, I've joined a canning class. I don't know how to can. But yeah.
I just
So
saw today like it's like an electric sealer that you put over
yes.
the mason jar and that seals it for you.
I
Having to
don't know if it
boil
seals
it
it from long term use though.
because you
I
have
don't
to
know.
boil it and all of that stuff, right? And listen,
It's a lot.
I think I might do better with canning than planting though. So you might have to handle the
The
planting
food is already
and
grown.
and
Yeah.
and I do the canning side of things.
Yeah. We're gonna have to come together
Yes.
because I'm feeling maybe I'll fail forward
Right,
in
we are
that.
feeling forward in farming.
Yes. I'll have the land. What I'm gonna do with it,
That's
I have to figure
to
that
be
part out.
determined, to be
Yes.
determined, but it'll be
Yeah.
yours and we'll move
Yes.
from there. So that's just a little bonus for y'all. Again, y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. And if there are any additional questions that you have for Chot'sani or myself, just put those in the comments and you will see Chot'sani's contact information on the very last screen so you can reach out to her directly. Shot, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate you so much. And thank you all for joining us on Prophetical, where purpose meets profit and divine favor guides our journey. See.
Yay. Yay.